Same income, same age, same starting point. One person retires with over $500,000. The other one retires with less than $200,000. The difference between them, $300,000. And here's the part that's going to mess with you. It wasn't income, it wasn't luck, it wasn't even how much they invested. It was one decision made 10 years apart. Now, let me tell you about two people, Marcus and Dana, because their story explains exactly how this happens, and more importantly, which one you're currently becoming. My name is Ricky, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who do everything right still end up behind. If you're someone who's tried to save, tried to invest, and still feels like nothing is working, stick around. Hit subscribe. This one's going to be worth it. Okay, so let me set the scene. Marcus is 24, makes around $45,000 a year. He's not irresponsible, he's actually trying. He hears about compounding, gets excited, opens a brokerage account, drops in $1,000. And then he checks it every week. It goes up a little, down a little. His car breaks down 8 months later, and he pulls some of it out. Dana is also 24, same income, same starting point. She sets up an automatic transfer, $150 a month, goes out like a bill. She doesn't check it obsessively. She kind of forgets about it, honestly. 10 years later, Marcus has maybe $1,200 saved, maybe less. Dana has $26,000. Same age, same income, completely different lives. And here's what's wild. Dana didn't sacrifice her lifestyle to do this. $150 a month is $5 a day, one coffee, one skipped lunch out. But the gap between them isn't about the money, it's about something else entirely. Something nobody explained to either of them when they started. And this is where it gets real. Because most people hear this story and think, okay, I just need to be more like Dana. Set it and forget it. Got it. But that's still missing the actual point. Because here's the thing nobody warned Marcus about. Nobody warned Dana either, honestly. She just accidentally did the right thing without knowing why it worked. The reason most people quit investing isn't laziness. It's because nobody told them that compounding feels like absolutely nothing for years. And when something feels like nothing, humans stop doing it. That's the real problem. And that's what this video is actually going to fix. Here's what they got wrong when they taught you about compounding. And when I say they, I mean your school, your bank, every guru running ads on your feed, all of them. They showed you the graph, you know the one. Starts flat, then curves upward around year 25. Looks incredible. But they showed you the end of the story, not the middle. The middle is where everyone quits, because that flat part at the beginning of the graph, that's years 1 through 10, maybe 15. And during those years, your account feels dead, embarrassingly dead. You put in $200, you check it 3 months later, it went up $4. $4. You could have found that in your couch. And that's the moment the lie kicks in. Not because compounding doesn't work, it does, but because nobody told you it comes with a delay so long and so boring that most people abandon it before it ever gets interesting. Here's the reframe, and I need you to actually sit with this. Compounding doesn't reward people who understand it. It rewards people who stay consistent through the part that feels pointless. That's it. That's the whole game. The banks know this. The finance gurus know this. But if they told you, hey, this is going to feel like nothing for 5 to 7 years, you might not open the account. You might not buy the course. You might not feel the excitement they need you to feel to take action. So they skip that part. They show you the rocket ship and forget to mention the launch pad. Marcus never knew about the launch pad. Dana survived it without even realizing it. Let me show you exactly why. All right, real numbers, nice and simple. Compounding means your money earns a return, and then that return earns a return. That's it, nothing fancy. $1,000 at 10% gives you $1,100 after year 1. Year 2 gives you $1,210. Not $1,200, $1,210. That extra $10 is your return earning a return. Small, almost insulting at first. But here's the key thing most people misunderstand. They think compounding is about the interest rate. It's not primarily. The biggest driver is time, uninterrupted time. Dana invests $150 a month starting at 24, 7% average annual return, boring diversified index fund, nothing exotic. By 65, she has roughly $400,000. Total money she actually put in? Around $73,000. The rest, over $300,000, that's compounding running for 4 decades without being stopped. Now, here's where Marcus loses. He doesn't start until 34, 10 years later. Same contributions, same return, same discipline from that point forward. He ends up with around $180,000, not $400,000. 180. 1 decade of delay cost him over $200,000. He didn't spend that money, he didn't gamble it, he just waited. And waiting in the world of compounding is the most expensive thing you can do.
So time is the big one. But there's a second factor that's just as brutal: consistency. And this is exactly where Marcus fell apart. He invested when he felt comfortable, stopped when things got tight, pulled money out when life happened. Which means he kept turning the engine off. And here's what nobody explains about that. When you stop contributing, you're not just pausing growth, you're losing the growth that would have happened on top of the growth you already had. The damage compounds too. Think about it like this. Imagine you're training for a marathon. Month 1, you're winded after a mile. Month 3, barely faster. 6 months in, people ask if you even run anymore. Boring, frustrating, feels pointless. But month 12, you're running 10 miles like it's nothing. The people who quit at month 2 never see month 12. That's compounding. The early stage isn't rewarding. It's not supposed to be. It's the foundation phase, quiet, invisible, but everything is being built underneath. Marcus kept stopping at month 2, every time. Dana just kept running. And the practical lesson here is simple. Make your contributions automatic. Make it like a bill you pay yourself before anything else goes out. Even $50 a month invested consistently for 30 years at 7% turns into around $60,000. Not from returns alone, from the combination of time, consistency, and the math quietly working in the background. The engine doesn't need to be huge, it just needs to keep running. Let's go back to Marcus and Dana, because I want to show you the full picture now. We left Marcus at 34 with basically nothing saved. He finally gets serious, starts putting in $150 a month just like Dana. From 34 to 65, he's consistent, no more stopping and starting. He does everything right. He ends up with about $180,000. Dana, she never changed anything, just kept going. $150 a month from age 24. $400,000. Same discipline in the end, same contributions. Dana just had 10 extra years of the engine running. Now here's the part that I want you to sit with. The difference between $400,000 and $180,000 is $220,000. Dana didn't contribute $220,000 more than Marcus. She contributed about $18,000 more in those extra 10 years. So $18,000 of extra contributions turned into $220,000 of extra retirement money. That is not a typo. That is compounding doing exactly what it promised. And this brings me back to something I said earlier. The people who win aren't smarter. They're not luckier. They just didn't quit during the boring part. Dana's account went from $0 to a few $100s to a couple thousand over her first few years. Nothing exciting, nothing worth posting about. But she kept going because she had automated it, because it left her account like a bill. She didn't have to make the decision every month to invest. She removed the decision entirely. And removing the decision is honestly the single most powerful investing strategy that nobody talks about. Okay, real talk for a second. You're probably watching this and thinking,
Okay, Ricky, I get it. Start early, be consistent. I've heard this before. And you're right, you have. But here's what you haven't heard, or at least what nobody made you feel yet. The reason you stopped, or the reason you haven't started, is not a money problem. It's a feedback problem. Human beings need to feel like something is working. We need signals, progress, proof. And compounding in the early years gives you almost none of that. You invest $200, it becomes $214. Your brain goes, "Why am I doing this?" Meanwhile, you could have used that $200 for something that gave you immediate satisfaction. A night out, new shoes, something that felt real. And your brain, which evolved to survive short-term threats, not to plan 40-year financial strategies, your brain is going to choose the thing that feels real. Every time. Unless you understand this trap going in. The people who succeed at this aren't people with more discipline. They're people who stopped relying on discipline entirely. They automated it. They made it invisible. They took themselves out of the equation because willpower runs out. Automation doesn't. Marcus relied on motivation. Dana relied on a system. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings change. A system is a structure. Structure stays. That is the actual secret, not the math, the infrastructure around the math. Here's where the mindset has to shift. Most people treat investing like a purchase. You put money in, you expect something back soon. But this is more like planting a tree. You put something in the ground, water it consistently, and then you wait for years with almost nothing to show for it. The tree doesn't care if you're impatient. It grows on its own timeline. And the people who build real wealth, they stop asking, "Is this working yet?" They start asking, "Am I being consistent?" That's the whole shift, from outcome thinking to behavior thinking. Because you cannot control the market. You cannot control your rate of return or inflation or what the economy does. But you can control whether you show up every month. Dana will retire with $400,000, not because she was financially brilliant, but because she stopped treating investing like a choice she made each month and started treating it like a habit she built once. One decision, made once, running quietly in the background for 40 years. That is the actual eighth wonder of the world. Not the math, the habit. All right, let's land this. Compounding is real, but it only works if three things are true. Time. Start as early as possible, even small amounts, even imperfect amounts, because 10 years of delay cost Marcus over $200,000. Not bad decisions, just time. Consistency. Automate your contributions. Make them non-negotiable. Remove yourself from the monthly decision, because willpower runs out, systems don't. And patience. The first 5 to 7 years are going to feel pointless. They're not. They're the launch pad, the boring, invisible foundation that everything is built on. Dana's $400,000 started as $5 a day. $5 a day, automated, left alone for 40 years. That's not a miracle. That's just math running long enough to matter. Start now, imperfectly, small, but start. And then, most importantly, don't stop. Look, I know this can feel heavy when you're just getting started. Maybe you're watching this and thinking, "Okay, Ricky, I get it. I'm already 35. I missed it." You didn't. Dana's story started at 24, but there's a version of it that starts at 35 too. The number is smaller, but it still beats doing nothing every single time. If this video made something click for you today, that's all I'm going for. That's the whole point of this channel. No hype, no get-rich-fast promises, just honest, real conversations about money that actually make sense for real people. If you want more of this, hit subscribe. I put something out every week. And if you've got a friend who keeps saying, "I'll start investing later," send them this video, because later is exactly how Marcus lost $200,000. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.